Yo, what's up guys, Dezo here, and today I'm going to be talking about Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 8, No One. A lot of people are saying this was a terrible episode, and today we are going to look at if it really was or if our expectations are just too high. So now we're going to take a look at some of the more controversial parts of the episode. We still have Jaime doing whatever he wants just to return to Cersei. We have Arya being able to survive stab wounds to the stomach with a 5-inch knife. We have Arya, who was actually that out of character last episode. We have Daenerys, who just happened to show up on time. The whole River Run story led up to nothing. Arya's storyline in Braavos concluded to be nothing more than a 3-season long phase, like some teenager getting into goth music. The Hound's whole revenge arc was kinda anticlimactic. Some things that were expected didn't happen, such as the whole Jaqen is Arya theory, based on Arya being so out of character last episode. The shadow behind the waif wasn't Syrio. Lady Stoneheart was not leading the Brotherhood. And Beric Dondarrion is alive, which means Lady Stoneheart isn't anywhere to be found yet if it's anything like the books. Any hope for Clegane Bowl is gone. And the blue guy following Arya was just an extra being reused. So now we're going to look at if this really was a bad episode or not. So what basically happened is everybody is overhyped about every episode, and it rises everybody's expectations. And then when those expectations aren't met, everybody has a negative reaction towards the episode. There's no way that every episode can be a hard home episode or the door episode. But this episode wasn't as bad as everybody is saying. Everybody's just mad that the things they want to happen didn't happen. If we look at the show back in Season 1, the plot was so slow in Season 1, but no one complained really because they knew what was going to happen in the future because of the books. But now we're kind of at that point of unknowing, everybody's just hoping. When you try watching something, you don't really want to have expectations for it. Like, yes, we all have expectations that the show production quality is going to be great, and it has been. Stuff like that, sure, but we don't want to have an expectation for the plot just because we think this is where the plot should go. It just causes people to be upset when they don't get what they want. So to look at the specifics again about this episode, Jaime has always wanted one thing, and it was to be with his sister. He's had a lot of experiences, but that one thing hasn't changed. That's all he wants, and he's doing what he has to do to get there. He's not really a character that has a huge arc, but his character's been motivated for one thing this whole series. I do think Arya surviving her stabbing is a little out there, but the Hound survived his wounds too, so it's not that far-fetched. The whole Arya out of character thing is questionable. After trying to be someone you're not for so long and living a luxury childhood, you might want to go back to that luxury childhood. Everybody was saying, oh, she didn't want a cabin on the first time over to Braavos, why would she want one this time? She was just looking for a way to get out of Westeros. She didn't care how. Now she wants a way back, and comfort would be nice, so I don't see why people are complaining about that. And she's also not too left-handed in the show. As you see here, she's used her right hand many times, and Maisie Williams said that's mostly because of camera angles. Next we have Daenerys showing up conveniently on time. Okay, I can't even justify this one. Daenerys' storyline has been all over the place. Next, we have the whole River Run story being pointless. It hasn't really played out fully yet, as it could go into Jaime's character arc, as it did seem to change the way Jaime kind of thought about things. So I guess we'll just have to see about this one. The whole Arya thing being in Braavos for 3 seasons being pointless, we also still will need to see about this one. Her character has definitely changed a lot from this experience. In the first few seasons, she was always this tomboy kind of girl, but now she remembers she's Arya Stark. She might want to stay true to her roots, or we don't know. This is another problem about expectations. We're reading into things too much without seeing how it plays out. But it definitely did contribute to her character arc. And she also killed Meryn Trant, who was the first person on her list. The Hound's whole revenge thing was anticlimactic, I'm not going to deny that one either. But we also don't know where it'll go, because there is a lot of potential for the Hound. All the Arya theories that didn't happen and that were quote-unquote disappointing for not happening also go into the expectation thing, and some of those were really tinfoil. People are mad that Lady Stoneheart's not in the show, but she still might be. The Hound was pissing in the river, which could be taken two ways. It could be a fuck you to the book readers, or it could just point out that the fact that they are near the river and the body will come up. Edmure did say it's been a couple years since the Red Wedding, so that leaves the question of whether or not the body would be recoverable or too much decayed, but in the books her body is decayed a lot, so the time frame could work. But let's also talk about how people are complaining that the Waif Arya fight scene wasn't shown. Arya fought in darkness. The only thing that would be on screen is a black screen with the Waif screaming. I think showing her face without eyes was a lot cooler than what the fight scene would have been, because Arya had a sword and the Waif had a knife, so Arya obviously had the advantage, and especially because she was blind, which led her up to this moment where she could kill the Waif in darkness. The same kind of thing as for the Blackfish's death. He said he would make a fool of himself, so it would basically have been him getting cut down almost instantly. We didn't really need to see it. And the last thing is that all hope is gone for Clegane Bowl. So this whole thing could make sense for the story, and it also couldn't. It'd kind of be odd for it to actually happen at Cersei's trial. It might happen at a later time, I don't know. I'd like to see it. It'd kind of be that sweet victory for the Hound, but that's not something the show is known for. So obviously this was a very controversial episode, and leave your opinion down in the description. This video actually took a lot more time than I hoped for it to make, so it'd be helpful if you also liked the video and subscribed for more weekly Game of Thrones videos.